All right, got a calm little Wednesday. Uh Existing home sales, news, orange folder news type day. So this shit basically it's at 10 a.m. It's not red folder. But here's the thing. Existing home sales is like one of the only like orange folder news that actually has an impact on the market. We often wait until it drops and then move. Um and so yeah, and from 9:30 open, we just chopped until 10, which then we immediately started moving. Um, but going into the day, I was definitely bearish because even though we were below midnight open, which midnight open was right here, we had London sweep out an Asia high inside of a PD ray. I believe this is an hour. No, it was a half an hour fair value gap. So we had a manipulation in London, then we had displacement. Um, so we had two things, right? So we had this low right here, and if we were bearish longer term, we would then come down to sweep previous day lows right here. So 9:30, I just wanted to see after we swept this, like if I couldn't catch a trade to this low, I wanted to see when we did sweep it because this is pretty obvious that we are going down here at market open. So when it does sweep this, if I don't catch an entry, I want to see how it reacts. What I was looking for was this right here. This is a breaker block, and I wanted to see us um come up into it and either reject from it, which then I would seek out previous day lows, or we would disrespect it and I would go seek out London highs and previous day highs. So what happened was we ended up coming right into it to the tick, into the breaker block and rejecting pretty hard. Well, we didn't reject just yet because of the 10 a.m. news, but as soon as 10 a.m. news rolled around, we displaced towards our target right here. Um, there was an SMT chain of state delivery entry. There was SMT right here. Uh, and then a change of the state right there. Um, Not only did price not come back to the opening price, which is where my limit order would be, but the reason why I didn't enter this in the first place was because I kind of wanted to see these highs also ran or this high ran. Just because we still kind of are in this accumulation area without sweeping all the highs. Um, so yeah, I wasn't sure if this is just a continuation of the chop or not. Um, but yeah, apparently when that 10 a.m. news drops, that's all it needs, and it's just gonna leave the chop. It doesn't need the chop anymore. Um, so yeah, if it did come in, I probably still wouldn't have taken it just because we didn't sweep out the external high. If we did sweep out the external high, 10 a.m. news dropped, and then we got this change in the state with the SMT, I would have definitely entered that. But yeah, I wouldn't even gotten filled anyways on this specific trade, so it doesn't really matter. So we end up sweeping this previous day low and looking on a higher time frame. We created relative equal lows with this low right here, and we have this low resistance liquidity right here that I kind of wanted to see get ran. So basically, I was open for longs, but I didn't really want to long for too long because I did think overall the draw was lower. Um, right here we had SMT at these lows, and it wasn't during a macro time. Otherwise, I would have taken this. But if it was in the macro, we had this change the state right here in the 1 minute, right? So I enter off of that, stops at the SMT low, and I would have targeted probably, if I'm gonna be honest, probably would have targeted this imbalance first for my first TP, and then second TP would have been this one, and I probably wouldn't have held anything else. So yes, it would have been a dub, but it's just not when I enter. Um, So there was that. But then yeah, we get this displacing move up. Market structure shift. No entry to go long. Didn't retrace to fair value gap. So we looked pretty bullish. We came up, we swept these highs. I believe, yeah, both on NQ and ES. So we're correlated at the moment. There's no SMT. Um, so like nothing too crazy yet, right? But I do think the draw is still lower. Let me just move this to right there so you can see it swept it. So both of these pairs swept it. And as soon as we swept it, we got heavy displacement to the downside, like heavy displacement. And you really like when you see like really heavy displacement like that after sweeping like a high or something, you don't want to really go against that necessarily. Like this all right, so hold on. So we have this displacement move, right? Starting from here, so like 10:30 to 10:50, 20 minutes to get from here to here. In the matter of 1, 2, 3 minutes, we move the same amount in that 20-minute span going up. So in those 3 minutes, we already moved that low. That's showing you that price is going lower, and that is the onside. So at that, sorry, at that moment, I was ready to, take shorts, right? So we had this breaker block and we had this 5 minute fair value gap right here. The first entry that I would have taken would have been this fair value gap, but just because there was this fair value gap above it, um, I wasn't too confident in it yet, so I was gonna take it at the breaker right here. Not confident. I shouldn't say. I was still confident, but it just wasn't a good stop loss. I didn't like it, so I would have taken a little bit lower of a fill, and he never tapped me in. But that's whatever, because then we open up this 5 minute fair value gap right here after we inverse this 5 minute fair value gap. Yeah, so looking at that, right? This right here, I wanted to see this get hit because then we'd be in that 5 minute fair value gap, and then whatever we see from there, I'll look for some sort of entry model. But we never got that. We never tapped into that 5 minute fair value gap. But we got like if it did, this is exactly what I would want to see if we did actually get hold on. Oh my God, my brain's not working. If we did actually get that tap to the 5 minute fair value gap, this is exactly what I would look for. We have this high, like big displacement candle inversing this 1 minute fair value gap, showing us that we are on side. Stops can be at those highs, and then target would be at these lows. Um, Price comes in, tags into the right there, into this 1 minute fair value gap. ES didn't, so there's a tiny SMT, and then we get displacement lower. Another plus, right, is after that inverse, we have this change in the state. Still no SMT up here. I would like to see an SMT, but that could be another entry, change in the state. And then we get up close candle into the order block and then down again. That's your propulsion block. And oh my God, did we propel? Holy fuck, we tapped it, like just barely tapped it. I'm naming order block right now, but that's a propulsion block. As you can see, we came a tick into it and we sold off really hard. Um, and yeah, the reason why I didn't take this was because I wasn't confident because I thought that we could still come into this 5 minute fair value gap. Um, Looking back on it, uh, there was too much showing that it didn't want to go back up there, like we came up, we got close to it. But then we had this displacement on the 1 minute fair value gap. And let's just say that's not enough. That should be enough because we are in this 5 minute inverse fair value gap that we expect to hold price. So we can use that instead to frame a rejection off of. But if that's not enough, then we got this change in state of delivery. And then that could have been an entry. Change in state of delivery off of that, like for this big move, there's no reason why price should go all the way back up there and then go all the way down. If anything, it comes into this fair value gap and then drops, which it did. But then if that's not the case, then there's this up close candle and then down. So there's a propulsion block right there. There's three things. We have 1 minute fair value gap. We have a chain of state delivery. We have a propulsion block. All of those three things, I should have noticed and I should have gotten in on that, but is what it is. I missed out on that, but that's fine. Today was a really good reading price on my part though. I would say 90% of the time, even though it was pretty tricky, I knew where price was gonna go. It's just my entry model never showed up today, really. During the times I look for it, I want an SMT change in the state. If this was the SMT change in the state, would 100% entered on that. Um, But yeah, we had this beautiful 1 minute inversion. That displacement is exactly what you want to see for inversions. You don't want to see like a shitty displacement. Like this right here, that's a good displacement, but like it doesn't displace strongly. Like this displays strongly. So strongly it didn't come back to it. But yeah. So not tight about today. Really, I played it how I should play. Played it pretty safe, but just wanted Price to be a little bit more clear. And it's a shame that I wasn't tagged in by like 2 ticks 2 times, but you know, is what it is. Tomorrow is Red Folder News though, so looking forward to that because we haven't had Red Folder News in so long, and I really want some. So probably better price action tomorrow. Um, And like for that 5 minute gap, that 5 minute gap is probably gonna get filled on the Red Folder News, and then I would enter off of that. So entries should be better tomorrow, hopefully. We'll see how it goes though.